A wonderful morning to all of you. Today's I am telling about Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 Dhyan Yoga. How to know Dhyan Yoga? What is the definition of Dhyan Yoga? Then Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Anasritang कर्म फलं कार्य कर्म करोति यः स सन्यासी च योगी च न निरंग्रीं न चाक्रियं. It is clearly it means the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruit of his work, who works, and he is obliged in the renounced order of life, and he is the truth, majestic, not he who lights nor fire and perform no duty. It means in the chapter of the Lord explained that the process of the eightfold yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people engaged to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the eightfold yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasized that the process of karma yoga or active of Krishna consciousness is better everyone act in this world to maintain his family and their parnal, but no one is working without some self-interested, some person gratification, be it concentrate, extend the criterion, perform in the act in Krishna consciousness, and not with a view to enjoying the fruits of work. To act in Krishna consciousness is duty even living entity, because all are constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self-satisfaction but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who act for satisfaction of the supreme whole and not personal satisfaction is the perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. The sannyasi sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotra, yajans, fire sacrifice, but actually they are self-interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self-interested. Similarly, the mystics yogi who practiced the yoga system with half open eyes, half-open eyes, ceasing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self, but a person acting in Krishna consciousness work for the satisfaction of the whole without self-interest. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self-satisfaction. It certain had creation of success in the satisfaction of Shri Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prayer in this way. Na dharma, na janma, na sundaram, kavitam va jagadam iska kamaye nama janani jananamni sarve bhagavat bhakti adhi bhakti devati. O my God, Lord, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth nor to enjoy because beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only the casualest mercy of yogi, your devotional service in my life, birth and after birth, birth after birth. This means, according to next, young Sanyasamiti Prahur Yoga Tang Vidhi Pandava Na Hatsyantan Tasya Sankalpo Yogi Bhavati Kaschana. That means, what is called renunciation, yours should not to be same as yoga, linking oneself the Supreme One, son of Pandu. For one can never become yogi unless he renounce the desire for sense of gratification. Real sannyasa yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act up accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the Supreme. When he interfered by material energy, he is considered conditions, and when he is Krishna conscious or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one cases all material sense gratification or renounce all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the sense from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has not opportunity to engage his sense in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously and sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and restraining these sense as prescribed in the Gyan and Yoga process is automatically served in Krishna consciousness, if one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then Gyan and Yoga are of no avail. The real aim is for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kinds of self enjoyments. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of an activity. All purpose are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Next, Aruru cho armu ne yor yogam karma karanam muchyate yogarudhasya tasyeva shamah karana muchyate. That means for one who is new fact and eightfold yoga system work is said to be the means, and one who is already elevated in yoga creation, all material activities said to be means. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. That this ladder beings from the lowest material condition of the living entity and raised up to perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. According to verse 11, elevation, different part of the ladder are known by different names, but all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts, namely Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called Yoga Shuraksha, Yoga Guru stage, and the highest rung is called Yoga Dhyan. Concerning is eightfold yoga system, attempt in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principle of the life and practice of different sitting postures which are more or less bodily exercise are considered fruitive material activities. All such activities lead to achieve perfect mental equilibrium to control the sense. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. A Krishna consciousness person, however, it is situated from the beginning of the platform of meditation because he always thinks of Krishna and being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activity. That's all. Next. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karma svanusajjate sarvashankalpa sannyasi yogarudha stadotyate, means a person is said to be elevated in yoga when having renounced all material desires and neither acts of sense gratification nor engaged in future activities. When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification, since one cannot live without engagement without Krishna consciousness. One must be always seeking self-certain and extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to top rung of the yoga ladder. Next, yuddharedatmanatmanam natmanam vasudevayat advai atmaiva hriyantmano bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanah. O must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. The word Atma denotes body, mind and soul depending upon different circumstances in the yoga system. The mind and the conditioned soul are especially important since the mind is the central point of yoga practice. Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense object. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver to conditional soul from the mere of necessity in material existence. One is subjected to the influence of the mind and the sense. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desire to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense object. The more one is attracted by sense object, the more one become entangled in the material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage in the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word is used for emphasizing this point, i.e., that one must to do this. It is also said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayam bandhyaya vishya sangyo muktayah nivishayam namah maham manah. For man, mind is the cause of bondage of mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense object of the is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Atmavindu Upanishad 2. Bandhuratmatmana namastasya yenatmaevatmanam jita anatmanastu satrutve varte tatve meva satruvatam. Means, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. The purpose of practicing eightfold yoga is to control the mind, in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, this practice of yoga is simply waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy. Thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the detection of lust, in anger, avarice, illusions, etc. But when the mind is conquered, voluntarily agrees to able by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone. Paramatma, real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his direction. For one who take up Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the direction, dictation of the Lord follows automatically. Jitatmanam prashantasya paramatmanam samahitam shitosna sukhudukheshu tatha mana pamanayo. Actually, every living entity is instanted to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. When the mind is mazed by the internal illusory energy, one becomes entangled in material activities. Therefore, as soon as one's mind is controlled through one of the yoga system, one should be considered to have already reached the distance one has to abide by superior dictation when one's mind is fixed on the superior nature. He is no alternative but to follow the dictation of the Supreme. The mind must admit some superior dictation and follow it. The effect of controlling the mind is that one automatically follows the direction of the Paramatma of Super Soul, because this transcendental position is at once achieved by one who is Krishna consciousness. The devotee of the Lord is unaffected by the dualities of material existence, namely distress and happiness, cold and heat. It is the state of practical samadhi, or absorption in the Supreme Krishna consciousness, because impersonal Brahman is the spiritual ray of Krishna and the Super Soul is the all-pervading partial expansion of Krishna. Thus, the impressionalist and the meditator are also indirectly Krishna conscious. A directly Krishna conscious person is the topmost transcendentalist, because such a devotee knows that what is meant by Brahman and Paramatma. His knowledge of the absolute truth is perfect. Where there is impressionalist and the meditative yogi are imperfectly Krishna consciousness. Nevertheless, all of these are instructed herewith to be constantly engaged in their particular pursuits, so that they may come to the highest perfection sooner as later. The first business of a transcendentalist is to keep the mind always on Krishna. One should always think of Krishna and not forget him even for a moment. Concentration of the mind of the Supreme is called Samadhi. Trance in order concentrate the mind. One should always remain the secularism and avoid disturbance by external objects. He should be very careful to accept favorable and reject unfavorable condition that affect his realization and perfect determination, and he should not hanker after necessary material things that entangle him by feeling of possessiveness. All these perfections and perceptions and perfectly executed when one is directly in Krishna consciousness, because direct Krishna consciousness means self, where there is very little chance for material possessiveness. Srila Rupa Goswami characterized Krishna consciousness is in this way: who one is not attached to anything but the same time sometime accepts everything in real relation to Krishna. One is rightly situated above possessive behaviors of on the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. Bhakti Rasna Sidhu 1.2/2.55. A Krishna conscious person knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feeling of personal positions. As such, he has no hankering for anything on his own personal accounts. He knows how to accept things in favor of Krishna consciousness and how to reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. He is always aloof from material things because he is always transcendental, and he is always alone, having nothing to do with persons not in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi. That means we will understand by Bhagavad Gita. I D.K. Sharma from India. My motive, spiritual meditation by Bhagavad Gita for entire world. That's all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.